So, are you thinking of buying a house?
This market is crazy. Probably not the best time to try and do it on your own. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thank you so much for joining us. So on today's show, we are talking about the crazy market. What else are we talking about these days, right?
You know, it's so funny.
It's insane out there.
I got to tell you something. Every time we start the show and I do the introduction, I always feel like I got to nudge you, but I don't. You just talk and it works out.
Talking is just, I'm pretty good at that.
It's pretty much second nature for you. So anyway, we're talking about what a crazy market. What a crazy time.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's unheard of.
And for what it's worth, and for the most part in our Tampa Bay market here, we're not alone. The entire country is in the exact same thing that we're in as well. We have offices around the country.
It's pocketed. There's hot states.
There's definitely hot states, but they're definitely around the country.
Fire!
Ours, I would probably say, is worse.
And what's going on out there? I think
oh my gosh.
People, you know what, when COVID hit, and I know we love to talk about COVID because it's such a popular subject, and major cities shut down, people realized they didn't like it, so they're trying to get out. So
I think a lot of it had to do with the shelter in place, and they wanted to shelter in place in their own home.
Right.
And I definitely think that was the spur, because I remember a year ago now, we were talking about how business was going to slow down.
Right.
We really thought from a lending standpoint and from a real estate standpoint, because there was no open houses, people weren't leaving their homes. There was the world was scared.
Who'da thunk it?
And we thought business was going to go down. Instead, boom.
Yep.
Boom on steroids.
Yeah. And one of the things that happens when people sit at home is they get on their computer, they get on their phone, and they start looking at, I'm going to be here. So they're either A, going to upgrade their current home, or B, they're going to surf the internet and try looking for a new home.
And both of those things have been happening. And the fact of the lower interest rate these days in the last year or better have really continued to spur that. But one of the things that we really wanted to try and stress today is there's a lot of, you can do a lot on your own, do-it-yourselfers. Home Depot is famous for the do-it-yourself kind of thing. Some stuff, and I'm not talking about renovations, although that would fall in here as well, you shouldn't do on your own. Right. And absolutely, positively, buying a home is one of them. There's some people out there who don't understand the functions of a realtor and how important this person is to the whole real estate transaction. So that's kind of the things that we wanted to hit on today.
Yeah, we of all people understand the value because we've had deals that we've worked on where there's no realtor involved in the transaction, and it actually makes it extra layers of work for us when we're doing the lending side or even on the title side. The realtor is an important role of any time you're buying a house. And people are going, and people are going online right now and these real estate sites pop up and they start looking at properties, and the problem with that is they're just saying, I want this house, and they try to get in and they can't get in to see that house in this market without having a realtor represent them right out of the gate. I mean, you can call a listing agent, but they're busy too, but you really need that real estate professional to represent you. Because
when you think about it, you're making the biggest purchase of your life. Do you want to do it with no guidance? Do you really want to make that kind of a step with nobody supporting you?
But people will say,
other than maybe your parents or something.
Right.
But are they in real estate? No. Mom is works at a hospital and dad's a fireman or something, are they the best people to guide you on that? They're the best people to guide you on a lot of things in life, but you really need a real estate professional when it comes to that.
Listen,
and the other thing, when we're
Mom
doing,
watches the show. Mom knows that I'm not going to come to her for real estate advice.
right?
Hi, Mom.
Hello, how are you? I know, your mom is so sweet. God bless her. I love her. Anyway.
She's not a realtor, though.
No, she's not a realtor. And the thing is, like I said, this is the biggest purchase of your life. You really need someone to have your back. That's my biggest thing that I tell people. A lot of things you had mentioned that it makes it difficult on the lending side. When people who don't have a realtor, they're looking to us for advice.
Yes.
We're not realtors.
No.
I can't give you that kind of advice. I absolutely cannot, and I should not, because I am not a licensed realtor. I don't know a lot of the answers that the realtors do know the answers to.
Which, let's pull up number one. Why do you need a realtor when you purchase your new home? Well, the first thing is their experience. A realtor carries that experience. They are the go-between. They are, they're going to be the ones that are going to be there
Right.
to help guide you through what are the next steps. That's what people talk about. What are the next steps?
And when you walk into a house, and I'm sure everybody does this too, right? You go into a house and you're like, ooh, look at the cabinets, ooh, look at this, look at the windows and stuff. The realtor, though, you're looking at all the ooh and ahs and the pretty stuff. The realtor is looking for the defects, because that's what their job is. Their job is to point out to you, okay, yes, that is a beautiful fireplace. However, did you notice down here where it's crumbling a little bit, the bricks or the stone or something?
And they're gonna help line up that home inspector for you, because they have those connections. You may buy a house once every 5-10 years. That realtor's been through 5 transactions that month possibly,
Right.
or 10.
So although
or
it's
more.
emotional for you, it's not for them. And you
Yeah,
really need somebody
so-
non-emotional to kind of like see the stuff that you're not seeing.
So they're going to line up that home inspector right out of the gate. And also things like that you may not be aware of, other types of inspections on certain loan programs, they're going to help line that up as well. So their experience is a must in the single largest purchase that you're probably ever going to make in your home.
Right.
Outside of your Cadillac Escalade, of course.
I've been wanting one for a long time.
Those are expensive cars.
Got it used.
Yeah, I know. Rickenbacker guitars are very expensive too, I might add. But
Yes.
that's another show.
You have your thing. I have mine. Moving on.
Moving forward.
So the other thing that the realtor does, like I said, the number one thing is they have your back, and they are experienced, and you need to lean on their experience. You don't want to do that by yourself. Negotiations.
Now you found the house.
Now you found the house,
They
and
helped you find it.
this is the perfect
The realtor
house.
guided you. What else are they going to do for you?
They are going to negotiate that contract for you. Now, I will say in today's world, there's not a lot of negotiating that's going on. It's pretty insane out there right now, but under normal circumstances, they're going to negotiate things for you,
So-
especially if they saw things that maybe weren't exactly right. They might say, well, you know what, we want to put an offer on this house, but, we really want this checked out or we want that checked out, which, as Barry said, which is where the inspections come in.
And part of that negotiation, remember, is, what is included with the property. Hey, did that washer and dryer come with it? If you did it on your own, you might forget about it. They might sit there. You as a buyer think, oh, they're in the house. All of a sudden, the seller takes them with them when they move out. And you're like, what happened to washer and dryer? Well, they weren't part of the contract. Or,
The stove, the refrigerator, the dishwasher.
the refrigerator. Anything.
We've seen people take everything. We've seen people take even the plates covering the electrical outlets.
Well, because they were special, because Aunt Emily,
Because they were 29 cents.
yeah, whatever the case may be. But, typically things that are permanently attached are part of the house, but sometimes there's extras that you need added in, and it needs to be part of the contract because, hearsay is just that. It's hearsay.
I had somebody
So-
take bushes one time. Bushes off the front lawn. And they had one of those built-in ponds. They took the pond too.
Come on.
Not kidding.
Seriously?
We don't make this stuff up, people.
So here's a question then. Ceiling fans, are they normally included?
You know what? It depends. They're attached, but
They're
it's
attached,
but it's a
but,
light
yeah.
fixture.
But what if it's one that just kind of snaps up? You know,
Right.
it's not a permanent.
They might take
say.
it. This is why you need a realtor.
Yes.
They're going to remember all of this stuff. You're not.
They're
You're
going to
not.
walk through the house while you're like all giddy and placing your furniture. They're looking at what appliances will come with, what items may come with, and they're going to make sure that those are in the contract because you're going to be overwhelmed with buying that home.
There's so much to it. It's
Yes.
not like just buying a car. You know,
It's
or
not like an Escalade.
it's not like buying an Escalade.
We're so much fun.
I really needed like a lesson in how to drive the thing. It's
Take
got
your
all
course.
all stuff.
All right, number 3 in our top reasons why you should use a real estate professional is pricing. You know what? Whether you're buying or selling, you know, you may be coming in from an area out of town. The realtor's going to, you know, hopefully most realtors do. They know their market. They know what pricing is going for. They can look in the MLS that you don't have access to. Not your online sites for comparable sales. They're not the same because they're going to know what the house should sell for and probably get you more money when you're listing it. They're also going to know what you should pay for it. I mean, we've had realtors, we just had a deal right now where it didn't come in. They offered over asking price, which is what's happening in this market. The realtor was straight up with me and says, it's not going to appraise.
Not going to appraise.
And they were within $5,000. It was short, and the buyer was aware up front, so they weren't blindsided that it's probably not going to appraise for the amount they offered. The buyer was already prepared to bring the extra money to closing. Again, why you should use a realtor. They had the comps right there in front of them. It was going to appraise at $340. They said it. They offered $360. $360 got them the house, but they had to come up with the extra cash.
When a price is set on a house, normally a realtor will go out and do a market analysis to see, okay, where should this house, what is the value of this house? So it's not just arbitrary. A lot of times, though, the sellers say, oh, I want more than that. You know, the realtor says this house is worth about $350,000. Well, I want $400,000 for it, and the realtor's like,
Of course
you know,
you
it's
do.
not going to appraise there. We'll list it for what you would like because you're the client after all. However, I'm just telling you realistically, this is where the value of the home is. And again, people come in, and in this crazy market, they've been bidding over asking price and such, and that's what you have to be prepared for. But that's what the realtor's job is, to help you through. Not just the listing agent is going to do a market analysis, but the buyer's agent too, because this buyer's agent, because when you do apply for your mortgage, you're going to be buying inspections. They cost money. You're going to be an appraisal. That costs money. And this is money coming out of your pocket. So your realtor wants to make sure that the offer you put in is going to be a valid offer because she doesn't want you wasting money, he or she.
He or she.
He or
Thank
she,
you for
sorry.
making that clear. Okay, next reason why you should use a real estate professional is, number 4 on our list, is paperwork. Everybody loves paperwork. You know what? There's so much paperwork involved. How many pages is the real estate contract?
So the real
now?
estate contract itself is 12 pages.
So
and guess
12
what?
pages of paperwork.
It's 12 pages for a reason because someone, somewhere in the last however many years, sued somebody for something listed in there. So now it's part of the contract. Don't do this.
Yeah, so those contracts, they're going to help you fill them out. They're going to help you prepare it. And then when we...
And explain it. This is a legal binding contract.
Yes. And when your lender needs an addendum, per se...
Something changes.
FHA addendum, because you're going FHA, the realtor's going to provide that and have it. Something changes in the contract. The inspection failed, so it needs to be updated in the contract that the seller agrees to pay for the failed septic tank. You know, you dealing directly with the seller, it can get testy, is that the word?
Yes.
Because the seller's mad now because they got to spend $5,000 to fix that septic tank that's broken. Where, again, like DeLynn said, the realtor doesn't have emotion in it. They're like, hey, you need to fix it. Let's put it in the contract. It's agreed upon addendum. You know, seller agrees to give $5,000 to fix that broken septic tank or whatever the case may be. So again, paperwork is necessary evil, and it's,
Because
it's part of the
any
realtor's
changes,
job.
any changes to that initial 12-page contract have to be in writing. Anything that happens, the inspection, something
Yeah.
happens, or anything that happens. So there's definitely a lot more than just those 12 pages, but the realtor's job is to go through that, explain it to you so that you understand what you are signing, because it is a legally binding contract. And this is for both the buyers and the sellers, keep in mind. The sellers need to understand as well what they're signing and what it means and such.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, another reason we kind of segued into this is the realtor can act as your mediator. Again, emotions, biggest purchase of your life, emotions are all-time high. The seller maybe has been in the house for 30 years, his kids grew up there. It's emotional for them. Something
Right.
happens, they're insulted. The realtor can be
This is their Taj
go-between.
Mahal.
This is their Taj Mahal.
And you want to make it your Taj Mahal.
Exactly. And the buyer, he's coming in, he's already got plans for where his kids' rooms are going to be. There's emotions involved. Anything that goes wrong, whether it be during the inspection time, maybe there's a delay in financing. Obviously, they didn't use us. Just kidding. It's a little plug in there. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that in. They use the
Well placed.
they use the online guys that don't have local appraisers, but that's another show.
Tune in next week.
But they act as a mediator on the whole transaction going between. I love to plug us, but there's a lot of great lenders out there.
There are a lot of great lenders
We
out
just
there.
happen to be one of them.
We're just at the top of that great lender list.
Yeah. So
But
they act.
you need someone non-emotional to help you negotiate through that, because you have emotions involved in it, and the seller does as well, and it's real important.
All right.
Now, the other thing that we wanted to bring up, the next thing on our list, is the walkthrough. So it's a lot that you go through, and people always say to me, when it comes to closing, I had no idea everything that we were going to have to go through. So it really is a process. It's a process, and it does take 30 to 45 days sometimes. So it takes a long time. A lot of people are working on this, doing their jobs. So a lot can happen in 30 to 45 days.
No.
You have your seller, you have all of that
life-changing.
renegotiations going on, right? And then your seller is packing everything up and moving out of the house, and you're packing everything up and wherever you're living, getting ready to move it into the house and everything. And finally, we get to the day of closing or the day before closing, and everybody is ready. And talk about emotions being high, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone is like, not even breathing. The walkthrough. So it's your chance to go into the house that you purchased, that you're about to sign your life on, either later that day or tomorrow. And it's your chance to go in and make sure that that house is exactly what
Everything was there.
everything was still there.
That you
All of those
agreed upon.
appliances,
Yeah.
all of those face plates on the electrical outlets,
And the house is clean.
the bushes in the yard.
Yeah, and the house is clean. And you know what else? I know this is part of it. They schedule that walkthrough. And remember, when you're buying or listing a house, the other thing they do is they're going to schedule the showings when you're listing the property. Because right now in the seller's market, can you imagine having like 30 people wanting to see your house at all different times? Like, your life is over. That realtor can put them in blocks of time. I mean, we've seen them right now where, 18 people lined up waiting because that listing agent was smart enough to schedule a whole window and not put the seller out to go sit at a coffee
17
shop.
different times.
Yeah, at a coffee shop, 17 different times. It's like, hey, let's block out Saturday from, noon to 5, and we'll make that the showing time. Kind of like, almost
Right.
like the old open houses. Remember we used to do those?
Yes.
So-
All of a year ago.
And they're also going to help schedule when you can see a house when you're on the buyer side. And again, another reason to use a realtor. And that's not really on the list, and that seems like it's trivial, but it's so important right now.
It is.
You want to be able to get in to see a house. I'm thinking if you just went on your own, you're not going to get in. They're going to want to, the realtor's going to make sure you're pre-approved, or you have proof of funds to buy the house, because that listing agent is not likely to let you in without that. The realtor's going to make sure you have that and get that over to them so they can schedule that showing. So anyway.
The realtor's job is also to handle things that you can't, because let's face it, you're working. You've got your full-time job and you're doing whatever it is that you do all day long. You need somebody to, again, have your back. Who is going to schedule and meet those inspectors? Who is going to schedule and meet the termite people? Who is going to schedule and do things like that when things come up? Your realtor. Your realtor is the one who's going to do that. They are representing you. So when you can't be there, they can. That's important.
It's super important. And another big thing is they know the market. They know
Inside
the
out.
area. And, you may look online, you may not know, I'm going to go see this house. It's a 55 plus community. Okay, when you're 49 years old, they're not going to let you in that 55 plus community. Maybe you're looking for certain criteria in schools or things, family areas, where you want to know that there's certain things available for kids. Especially if you're moving in from out of state, out of the area, that realtor's going to know that market and what's important to you. So have that relationship with your realtor so they can help guide you through all of that.
Is this our final thing?
No.
No. I know.
There's like 300 more items.
He keeps adding as we
know.
go. So heads up when things are coming on the market. That's one of the things right now, especially because it is such a hot market. If you are working with a real estate professional, they might have somebody in their office who is getting a listing or whatever.
They're gonna know before it hits the MLS.
Yes. Now they can't advertise it or anything else, but they're going to know, and they might say to you, "Hey, there's going to be a house coming up in such and such a subdivision."
Right.
They can't give you any particulars on it, but is that an area that you would be interested in looking at a house in? So
that's a plus, though.
That's a plus. That's a
'Cause
huge plus.
We hear about stuff because we talk to agents all day long.
I know.
They kind of give us the, hey, if you know anybody, blah, 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 blah,
And the funny thing is we never really realize that the value of the realtors so much, because we do talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
So we know it. We don't realize people don't know it.
We do realize the value of a realtor.
What I mean is we don't realize that people don't realize the value of the
Yes,
realtor.
yes.
You don't know what you don't know, kind of a thing, and people don't know. So if you're on Zillow or something like that, let me tell you, that's like so old, because by the time you see it on Zillow, it's sold.
Yeah, it's gone, and it's not updated in the MLS, so you're wasting your time.
No.
All right, so here's the biggest myth out there to our first-time buyers. You went out, you got pre-approved, you got all your documents together for your lender, and you're ready to buy a house, and they're like, well, I don't want to get a realtor because I can't afford a realtor. Well, this might seem elementary to you in the real estate business, but as a buyer, you do not pay for the real estate agent. Think about that. That realtor's working for free for you.
Free.
Now, mind
Free
you,
for you.
when they finally find you a house, they are going to get paid, but it is paid by the seller. A lot of buyers are not aware of that, so they think they're going to save money by bypassing not having a buyer's agent. That's one of the biggest mistakes made out there. Don't do it. If you call the listing agent directly, sorry, but they work for the seller. Get a buyer's agent that is representing you as a buyer. They're going to know you. They're going to know what's important to you. They're going to have your best interest at heart. So get an agent.
Again, don't you want, when you're making the biggest purchase of your life, don't you want someone on your side?
You want a professional. You want somebody who knows the market. And I know there's a lot of real estate agents out there. Right now, I think the agents need to be really vested in full-time in this market to really be able to help people. They got to be working it. They got to be really be out there.
Absolutely.
They got to be on
No
top of their
part-time.
game.
Yeah, you're not going to want
It's
a part-time
like trying to be a part-time lender.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
And that's, I was just thinking as you were saying that, even if I were buying a house right now, I've been doing mortgage lending for 40 years, I would still use a realtor. Even though I know what I'm looking at, I know what contracts look like, and none of this stuff and I would still get a realtor because they have my back, and they're going to be able to protect me should something come up or point something out to me that I'm going to miss. There's a number of things. I wouldn't attempt tiling my house, tiling the floors of my house. I would not attempt something like that. I would not attempt, retiling the shower area.
Your husband might, though.
But he might. And I would not attempt buying a house without a realtor. It's
Yes.
just
Yes.
not a good thing to
Yes.
do.
Anyway, we could give you 100 more reasons why you need a realtor. So
Yeah.
these
We
are
could.
just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many situations where realtors have been able to step in and save deals. I've seen them come in. People were short money to close. The realtor's like, I'll kick in some of my commission. And
There
I'm
you
not
go.
suggesting they should discount their service because they're worth their weight in gold. I just have to say.
Unbelievably.
But they will make sure you get to the closing table. That's the bottom line. So,
Absolutely.
a lot of great stuff. All right. Enough praising the realtors. Let's praise our community right now. We have a lot of things going on out in the community right now. Of course, we want to talk to you about our upcoming Lunch and Learn. The next one is via Zoom still. Someday we'll get back together once COVID passes. It's on May 11th.
Gonna pass.
I know, this too shall pass. It's
We're
gonna get
going to
better.
have
It's
to
gonna
get
improve.
back together.
Yeah, May 11th
Sooner than
is
that.
our next Lunch and Learn at 11:30. Please put it on your calendar. We're going to talk about what's going on in the insurance industry right now. Why are rates going up? Why is it costing so much more? And which will affect the buyers' debt ratios, of course. And we're going to talk about inspectors. Why people are waiving home inspections right now. They're waiving lender contingencies. We're going to talk about that next month. May 11th, put it on your calendar, 11:30. Look for the link. We'll send it out to you. It's on our Facebook page.
And
It'll
of
be
course,
up on
as
our-
always, we'll have a tip from Bill Middleton,
Yep.
the real estate coach.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And
He's
that-
got some great tips.
Yeah, he does. Hey, he's one of the. He coaches a lot of the top producers in the country out there. So we both know the value of having a coach. You need somebody
Yes.
accountable to make you accountable.
Yes.
So. And the other thing we want to talk about is our charity, West Pasco Business Association, WPBA. Please go to WPBA.biz because we have funding to help people with rent. If you're struggling with rent payments due to COVID, please go on our website, see our HEART program.
Right. Scroll on down to where it says the Heart Program,
can help-
and that's where you'll find the information.
Yeah, we can help you out. Fill out the form, send them into the email listed, info@wpba.biz. We can help you out with past rent. We can help you out with forward rent. You must be a Pasco County resident. We can actually help you out with your utilities, as in water and or electric, and we can get you current on
And
that
if
stuff.
you are a landlord and your people are behind in rent, please urge them to do this. And you can go on as well and print out the documents as well. We want to get you paid, and again, we can pay back rent that they owe you, and even rent into the future to help them get on their feet.
Awesome. Hey, great information. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you share this show.
We appreciate everyone watching. We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
See you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.